Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. So for today's video, it might not be like breaking news to you, but that's kind of the title of the series where we talk about different trade rumors and trades and moves going around the NBA and stuff like that, man. But this was breaking news to me, guys. How come nobody sent up an emergency, red flare when I was on my family, holiday vacation telling me that the Pistons were about to make a horrible life choice, guys? Apparently, there is a rumor going on right now, man. Some actual trade talks between the Washington Wizards and Detroit Pistons from a few days ago that would send Blake Griffin to the Wizards for John Wall to the Detroit Pistons. And honestly, usually, a trade is, win-lose. Sometimes it's win-win. It's very rarely lose-lose because it doesn't make sense to do a trade if it's bad for both sides. This is a lose-lose trade, man. So for today's video, we are going to check out why this is a bitch-ass move for both franchises and how it could essentially set, both franchises back really a few seasons, if you ask me, man. So before we get going on today's video, you guys to drop that like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and let's get it, man. Okay. So first, let's talk about the idea of Blake Griffin going to the Washington Wizards. Well, okay, Blake Griffin, obviously, man, came off a really bad season due to injury. He's on a 2-year contract. He's got a player option, not this season, but the season after. So, after 2 seasons, yeah, he'll probably be gone either from the Pistons or the Washington Wizards, depending on which team he ends up being with, right, man? But yeah, last season, keep in mind, these stats are not a true indicator of him falling off or anything. Like I said, man, he was doing this essentially on one leg. The season before with Detroit, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, man, he was an all-star. This was essentially his best season in the NBA. Anybody can, if you want to argue otherwise, you can, but you look at the stats, it was his best season in the NBA. He was shooting the three, handling the basketball a lot more. His passing was great. And then, of course, he had, an injury going into the playoffs. And last season, he was essentially non-existent, man. But why exactly is he a bad choice for the Washington Wizards? Why should the Wizards not trade John Wall? At least not in the case for, Blake Griffin. Well, if you look at this Wizards franchise, man, you look at their team. Okay, outside of Bradley Beal, who are the 2 promising players on this team? Rui Hachimura and Denny Avdija. I know I said it wrong, man. Denny Avdija is what I'll be calling him, man, until he becomes an all-star in the NBA. By the way, his head looks like, man, it's like the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the damn head. Because why does it look so small compared to the rest of his body? I don't really know, man. But yeah, those are the big two big-time pieces on this team. So if you get Blake Griffin on here, what's going to happen is he's going to be playing the 4, and that means Rui is going to either go to the 3 spot or go to the bench. And as a result, Denny is either going to start or go to the bench. Man, you want both these guys playing and getting minutes out there, right? Blake Griffin does nothing for this team. He does not make them a championship contender, nothing like that, man. But not only that, John Wall, we don't really know what John Wall is going to be. I mean, John Wall could come back and return to his all-star form, and that's beautiful, right, man? Because you look at the rest of the roster for the Washington Wizards, outside of John Wall, who's their point guard? Ish Smith. As a Piston fan, that's not a good situation to be in. Raul Neto. It's Raul Neto, right, man? That's the position they don't have, unless they want to give, the reins of this team to Cassius Winston, hoping that in his rookie season, what was he, a second-round pick, something like that? Yeah, pick number 23, that he can be, their future point guard. I don't really see that happening, right away or anything like that. So it makes no sense already, just from looking at that. They need a point guard. If you're going to take a chance with Blake Griffin, you are better off taking a chance with John Wall and hoping he returns to form on this team, right, man? And then obviously looking at the Detroit Pistons side of things, well, I guess we want to check out the last time that John Wall has actually played basketball games. It's been 2 seasons, the 2018-2019 season, and he was fantastic. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists per game, 2 steals. Still not a great 3-point shooter, never really was. He had this one good season where he shot 37%, but it probably wasn't off too many attempts. John Wall can still be something, but this is why it's bad for Detroit, man. Okay, so they got essentially 2 years left on Blake Griffin's contract. If they trade for John Wall, he gets injured. Check out his contract, man. It's going to set them back a season. He's got, not only is it a worse contract, $41, $44, $47 million, but it's also an extra season of having a bad contract for an injury-prone, aged player that's not going to help your rebuild, right, man? So why would Detroit do this? But you look at John Wall, too. Yes, he put up good numbers 10 seasons ago, but same thing with Detroit. They already got D-Rose. That's fine. D-Rose probably gets traded. But also, look at the point guard, man. They got Killian Hayes, the 7th pick in the draft. So essentially, man, if you're getting John Wall on this team, John Wall's never going to be a backup. He's not going to be a backup point guard, at least not for a team like this. So you are essentially saying, Killian Hayes, you're the backup for the next 3 seasons. Because, either John Wall becomes healthy and he leads the Pistons to an extra 10 victories on the season or something like that, and therefore, kind of stunts the rebuild, or he becomes bad, but he's not bad enough where you're still going to start killing Hayes over him, because that's just not going to work. Like, John Wall will just get salty, not play, or get injured or whatever like that. It just makes no sense, man. 0 sense whatsoever. So we are going to do some sort of trade, and we are going to see why exactly either team would do this, if it does help either one of them get to the playoffs, which if anything, maybe the 8 seed. I guess a healthy Blake Griffin, Bradley Beal could be an 8 seed team. Like I said, man, then you're stunting the growth of Denny or Rui Hachimura. You definitely don't want to do that. So let's go through a trade real quick here. Okay, so as far as a trade that I would do, it would be Blake Griffin, $36 million. And yeah, this to me is simply not enough within itself. Like, the Pistons would need to get compensated taking on an additional year of a bad contract. Like, this right here, it makes no sense. Like, I do think the Pistons would need to get like a 2nd round pick, something back in exchange. Like, this right here is not enough. So I'm going to say Blake Griffin, and I guess you probably say a 2nd round pick. I don't really see a 1st round pick being given up in this case. I mean, maybe. That's Chicago's unprotected. We don't want that. We want a Washington Wizards 2nd round pick, which it looks like they don't have one for a very long time. I guess maybe you do something like this if you're the Detroit Pistons. To take on the extra year, you take on the contract. Or, like I said, they bring on Blake Griffin. Then already you're kind of limiting the roster space for forwards on the team. So maybe you could get like a Troy Brown Jr. out of it, because they also just signed Davis Bertans to a 5-year, $80 million deal. So obviously he's going to want to get some playing time too. So what I would do if I was the Pistons, like this right here would be cool. The Pistons get a roster spot for Troy Brown Jr., probably instantly becomes the starting small forward on the team. And, of course, they take on John Wall. And the Washington Wizards, they get 1 year less of a bad contract and a contract that's already, a less amount of money than John Wall. Troy Brown's going to be getting paid pretty soon. He's got 1 year left. Of course, he's got the team option right here. So I don't really see the Washington Wizards paying him if Denny's supposed to be the future of this team. So I think this is actually a pretty fair team for both sides. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, we have not really seen too much of Troy Brown Jr. yet. He was the 15th pick in the 2018 draft. Field goal efficiency is fine. 3-point shots, got to work on it, but it looks like, from his rookie season to his second season, he's shown an improvement with that. Shown an uptick in minutes. Would definitely be the star of this team and have a chance on a team, man. Like I said, they're probably moving on from Troy Brown if Denny is the new future starting small forward of the team. So this right here, I think, is a pretty fair trade. I would even go as far taking on, a guy that's only going to his 3rd season who was a near lottery pick. As a Piston fan, I would even toss in like a 2nd round pick, and I wouldn't be too mad about that. So this right here, I think, is pretty fair. 3-star, 3-star, 2.5-star, half-star contracts obviously is not put into the equation right here. So let's do this, and the Pistons got to toss in another player because they have too many. Okay, so we'll just toss in somebody at the bottom of the list. You can have like Ronnie McGruger. That's fine. I'm cool with that. So there we go, man. To me, that is a fair trade for both sides, all things considered. So, I mean, it's a bad trade to begin with because, like, I guess for the Pistons, it's not too bad if you get Troy Brown Jr. out of it. And like I said, man, the Wizards, maybe they got some future plans. So, this is what the starting lineup would be looking like for Detroit. John Wall, Derrick Rose probably would not start, but we don't really have any other. Man, dude, it makes no sense. Why would you get John Wall? You already have Killian Hayes, and then Derrick Rose would he probably go to the bench, right? So maybe you do go as far as starting Derrick Rose at the 2 spot, right? Assuming he starts the season on the team, which is no guaranteed. I mean, I guess that's 2 like all-star point guards from the past mentoring Killian Hayes, so that's kind of cool, I suppose. But it still don't make a lot of sense, man. But this is actually kind of a cool looking team right here. John Wall, Derrick Rose, Troy Brown, Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee. Not like a lick of 3-point shooting, so this team is probably still not going to the playoffs. But it's at least kind of somewhat interesting to say the least, so I'm kind of cool with it, I guess. It'd be fun to watch, like John Wall, Derrick Rose in the backcourt together. See what Troy Brown Jr. can bring to the squad. Okay, and then for the Washington Wizards side, yeah, I guess we're committing to the Ish Smith starting point guard again. Didn't work out too great for them last season. Bradley Beal, Denny Avdija, Blake Griffin, Thomas Bryant. I guess if you want to get, yeah, I guess Rudy would have to go to small forward, right? Or I guess if you want to get crazy with it, you could put like Blake Griffin at the small ball center. I don't like that, but it's not like the team was playing defense last season anyway. But yeah, we'll do this, and then we'll put Rui Hachimura as a small forward. He probably starts. Denny off the bench. Davis Bertans off the bench as a backup power forward. Bring some shooting to the team. And like I said, they got a point guard. I guess maybe if Denny Avdija can like do some like ball handling and stuff like that, which I guess he can do. Maybe he could do like a Ben Simmons type of like point guard type of thing. I don't really know, man. But this is the lineup. they get one less year of a bad contract. I guess it's essentially why you're doing it. But I think at that point, you're kind of committing to the team not being good. So I think Bradley Beal would probably request a trade. Or maybe, you know, you go into the season with Bradley and Blake Griffin. You kind of see what happens from there, man. Let's go ahead and simulate the season, right, guys? Let's go ahead and simulate the season and see what happens. Simulate through date. And, yeah, I mean, I've been really thinking about, like, the Detroit Pistons the past few days and just kind of, like, what the grand scheme is right here, because obviously they're a team that's being roasted by everybody, including myself. And I will say, I've been thinking about, like, the Jeremy Grant signing, you know, the Mason Plumlee signing, you know, those type of things out there. And I do think it was like a short-term thing for a long-term play, where if Plumlee does start for the Pistons, puts up really solid numbers, he can get you like 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, really solid passer. Then come to trade deadline, there's going to be teams out there that are going to be dealing with injuries and things like that. Like, if he's putting up those numbers, $7 million a season is pretty damn decent. And a team that's, you know, fighting for the playoffs or looking to bolster their roster could trade the Pistons a first-round pick. So I guess you got that going for you. I kind of feel like that's kind of what they're doing with some of these signs right there. Just like giving guys an opportunity to put up their numbers and come trade deadline this year or next year, flipping for a pick, man. So, you know, the old king of the fourth quarter method, right, man? So, yeah, and as far as the Washington Wizards go, I don't really know what's going on with John Wall. Like, I guess, okay, if you are a Wizards fan or just fan of the NBA in general, would you guys rather take on Russell Westbrook's contract that's a bit longer than Blake Griffin's, but obviously more of a healthier player? Or would you rather take on Blake Griffin's contract and have it be one last year and free up some money in like 2 seasons or whatever, man? You guys let me know in the comment section below. And I guess there's still that chance that Blake Griffin, you know, maybe he goes on this Wizards team, has an all-star caliber season, stays healthy, declines his player option, goes somewhere else, man, and tries to, you know, sign up for a long-term contract, kind of like Gordon Hayward did with the Charlotte Hornets, right? I guess that's a chance for that. Wizards 31-50, Pistons 34-48. Actually worked out pretty damn nicely for the Pistons. Probably not a playoff team, but they actually were better. I guess it did not work out nicely because it made them a good team, or a better team. So that decreases their chance of getting a good draft pick, which still is very annoying, man. I hate when the Pistons do that, when they try to just become like mediocre enough to not get a good lottery pick. We got All-NBA first, All-NBA second, All-NBA third. None of either team's players making that. Then all rookie teams, we do have nobody there. We got Killian Hayes making it, and Denny Avdija, so they still got their minutes out there and stuff. But yeah, neither one of these teams made the playoffs. No real big time surprise there. So real quick here, let's go to the player stats on the season and see how, you know, these guys did on their new teams. Griffin staying healthy, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists per game. Now, keep in mind, 39 field goal percent, that's horrible. For one, his tendencies are screwed up in this game. They got him shooting 8 threes a game at 25%. He would not be shooting that many if he was not making it, man. That 24% will be close to 35% if he's healthy, man. Like, he can shoot threes. He was just playing injured. So, I feel like take that with a bit of a grain of salt. But, yeah, I would say if he stays healthy, closer to like a 19-point per game score, grabbing the rebounds, grabbing the assists. But still not great numbers. Rui Hachimura, his numbers were stunted, like we kind of said. Not only is he playing out of position, but probably playing some less minutes out there too. He's kind of splitting time with Denny Avdija. And then Denny, his rookie season, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Like, I would just let this guy start with Rui and see what you got right there, man. He's only 20, but that's definitely a really good start for him, right, man? And then looking at the Pistons side of things, we got, my bad, not rookie report, player stats. Derrick Rose, John Wall. Fun backcourt, man. That's pretty exciting. Jaleel, third leading scorer. Yikes. Okay, but we got Killian Hayes, 9 points, 4 assists, which I think he's going to be closer to about a 14-point per game score his rookie season if he is to start, but this is pretty accurate if he were to come off the bench. Troy Brown, solid numbers. I love the 7 rebounds. That's actually really good for a small forward. 3 assists, so that's cool. Then, yeah, man, it's like, it didn't really move the needle, but getting Troy Brown would be kind of cool, but I don't know if getting Troy Brown is worth the risk of stunting the growth of Killian Hayes. Actually, it's not worth the risk, man, right? But let's go ahead and simulate the season real quick here, or simulate the playoffs, see who wins it all, just kind of know you guys get curious about that. Yeah, I said I just saw this trade, I think it was today or yesterday. I want to do a video about it, but it was from a few days ago, so I don't know if the talks are still going on. Maybe by the time you're watching, the trade actually went down. Who knows, man? Maybe I go on Twitter after this video, and there's a big time surprise. So I see the pros to it. I see more cons. We'll see what happens. If it's my Pistons, we're probably doing some cons out there, right, guys? But hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, let me know your thoughts about this trade in the comment section below. And peace out.